Oh, I'm sorry. I bought a new phone because my screen was cracked and it's all different. I swear to God. Excuse me. I know for the average person, this will be a babble, guaranteed. Oh, I'm sorry. I forget to say good morning. This is Bill coming to you from Santa Monica, California. This is what happens when I get frustrated. I'll babble about the problem. Because it's not a problem if you don't have a problem like mine. It's normal. But when you have a problem like mine and they haven't thought of this problem, it's a real problem. For instance, this morning, somewhere around, I don't look at the time a lot because I just don't care. Sometime around 8 in the morning to now, when it was 10, coming up on 10:30, I think, when I looked. So that's about 2.5 hours somewhere in there. To be able to educate myself, I made the mistake of signing into YouTube under my name account. I mean, it's not like it's any secret, but I always sign in because you got to use your, well, I'm probably saying it wrong, but there's some part of the signing into your thing, whether it be my email address or password or whatever, bring me into my personal account. And then this is attached to the personal account just like every other account. You know, any Google thing does that. So, no problem, I'm thinking, because the other app, I guess it would be, I don't know, the phone, to me, when I'm on Google, I'm on Google. So, getting there should be the same no matter what phone I buy, but it isn't. And for the average person, I mean, it takes a few minutes, big deal. I can learn a new phone in 5 minutes. I know it's inconvenient, but it probably sped my life up. That kind of stuff is what the normal person's thinking. This guy, it took 2.5 hours to I think I deleted the entire old account. But I'm not sure. I was so satisfied with my success that I'm on top of the world today again, just because I said, you know what? I figured out how to change my stupid account on YouTube. And I mean, this is like the pinnacle of my day, and it took 2.5 hours to do it. Which probably takes you, maybe. I know I'm saying you, being a 53-year-old, it might take you 5 minutes. Give it to a 6-year-old, and it's done in 30 seconds. So, that's me. 2.5 hours. Literally, I wanted this posted the second I finished, and it started at 8:15, somewhere around there. I mean, you could give or take 15 minutes. I don't care. Call it 9. It's still too long. I mean, literally call it 10, and it's 10 to 10:30. That's a little too long for that accomplishment. And I'm still not sure I didn't just delete a 5-year-old account. I'll know that problem when I get done filming this. This is what I'm telling you. This is what happens to me every day. Okay, I'm done with that rant. I'm sorry. But I had to get that out. It's too funny. I mean, it's funny because I can make it funny, but I could see frustration for anybody else. I mean, me before this phone would have been, there wouldn't be anything left to it. I mean, it'd be nothing. I wouldn't even look for it. So I can understand the frustrations that people get, but I guess I don't know. My honest belief, it all goes back to the karma thing. I've always been a happy person, literally. I mean, obviously I wasn't happy when my wife was ill, and I wasn't happy when my wife died. But that's called the mourning stage. That's why I said I've been dragging my butt for too long after she passed. It's not right. My Fred said that when I told you about the story sitting on the dock. He said it, but I'm not the sharpest, even before the scar in the head. I wasn't the sharpest. So, took me a minute. But it was worth it. His name's Peter, and he'll know who he is. And it took me a minute, Peter, but thank you for that's a true friend right there that is willing to say that to you. That's the kind of friends I have. Which leads me to the next thing. I'm glad I didn't post this yesterday because I would have been in trouble. Not in trouble. But my new friend, I thought he was already on his vacation. And like I said, I almost posted something, but I'm glad I didn't because he had seen it before. Guess it's a huge deal for me. But my family doesn't need anything I've ever accumulated. I mean, there's lots of plans, and I'm not going to sit here and explain everything on here, because first of all, it's nobody's business. Second of all, the only person I got to explain it to is, and I won't say their names, I know them now. But when they get back and have seen this, they'll have time whenever they want. We'll sit down and start talking about it. But I told you in the other one about Randy, meeting him, and I consider him a brother to me. I haven't figured out a term for what I'm going to consider these two, but that's who I'm leaving everything to. And he asked me to help him understand how I was me. Well, I told him last night that he's going to see a lot more of me. That's going to be at his leisure and convenience, but we're going to spend a lot of time doing a lot of things together. Because, like I said, I don't even know what to call you now. You're above my brother, because I'm not leaving him anything, not because he doesn't need it. It's not because I have everything arranged in my head for him, and I have something for everybody in my head. It's nobody's business but mine. But you're getting everything else. But don't make it sound like it's going to be a big, huge check that gets deposited in your checkbook. It doesn't. That's already spoken for. Remember I talked to you about Portland, Maine Med? Everything existing is getting there. But everything we make from here, that's yours. And I'm not going to make it easy just by writing out checks. I'm going to show you how I did it. And we're going to do it the same way. I'm going to make it a whole lot easier than I had it, if it needs be. But if it's not necessary, you're going to do it like I did it. But I guarantee you, I already have a plan for you too. So, any of you worrying about those issues is pretty well over. That doesn't mean you just get to sit back and do nothing. Because I didn't. I still don't. But you don't have to worry about it anymore. So, I'm sorry if this one is somber. It's not meant to be, because that is the happiest day of my life since Jamie passed away, is the saddest. And so you can imagine I'm walking on clouds now that I know who that is. And when you see this, I did lose your bike, but I was going to tell you a story to see your reaction, but I already know what your reaction would be, so I didn't have to tell you this story. But I got myself into a bind. I got hustled. And it cost you your bike, which I'm happy to pay you for still. But it was worth it to me for the lesson. And I know that doesn't make sense to you, but it was only a bike. They could use that same hustle on anything I have, because it was somebody I trusted. So it was worth the bike. That's why it wouldn't have mattered. When I knew who it was supposed to be, I could have cared less. The only part that hurt me was that I couldn't tell you before now. But I knew if I told you that story, you'd have been okay with it. And I know that. I didn't need to tell you that story to hear your reaction. I already knew what you'd say. That's why I picked you. So, I'm going to get myself perfectly, totally honest now that I know who I'm picked. I'm going to get stoned for the rest of the weekend. I'm going to go to the beach. I'm going to enjoy myself. This is when I normally would be getting myself drunk, stupid, and crazy. The thing I love about smoking marijuana, and I could do a whole bunch of videos about that. It's not anything like my parents imagined for me. And I can understand if that's what they believed, and I'm sure that's what they were told. I can understand their concerns, but it's that, for me, it doesn't none of what they taught me to believe. So, I could say that for my friend, I could say it because he asked the question. I kind of sort of already know the answer, but don't make your kids afraid of weed. It's just like alcohol. That's a bad example for me, but it's a great example for you. Be more careful with that. Alcohol and drugs. It's amazing that I was an alcoholic, that I never ever picked up smoking weed or doing heavier drugs. Never. I mean, my father may see this one day. Dad's alive, Mom's not, but if they were both alive, they'd be proud to know they did that, especially knowing my history with alcohol. So, if they can teach me to, or raise me to do that, that's nearly impossible. So when I say my parents were awesome, they were awesome. And one still is. And my siblings, same thing. They've always been there for me. So, Mom, Dad, you did awesome. Another confessional, but my father needs to hear that. All right, I'm going to get on with my day. I'm sorry that choked me up a little. I'm going to get on with my day. That's one thing we're not allowed to do is cry. I'm going to get on with my day now. I got to get up to the park and get cleaned up and all of that. I got a bunch of food. Yesterday was a stellar day of people giving me food. It's so amazing. I mean, if any of the people ever that know, they'll know me. And thank you first of all for myself. But I'm gonna feed about 6 to 8 people today with everything I got given to me last night. I've already fed 2 people. So, and I think I have enough to do at least 5 or 6 more. So, that's thank you for the homeless community as well. So, I'm going to let it be at that. I want everybody to be happy, safety. Ooh, that's a new word. Happy, safe, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye. I don't even know what push. Okay, that one.